To the papers with Litsa, who's with us. A Russian dissident artist has been killed in Poland. What have you found on this?
That's right, Stuart. Well, I want to start by taking a look at Russian independent paper, the Moscow Times, that reports that Semyon Skripiotsky, that's actually his pseudonym, was shot dead in eastern Poland. Now, he was an artist and a blogger known for his political caricatures of Russian President Vladimir Putin, and he was killed in a parking lot in a city around 30 kilometers away from the border with Belarus. And for now, the paper says that 2 Belarusian citizens have been detained, but no charges have been pressed for now, and the investigation continues. And an opinion piece then in a Polish paper, Rzeczpospolita, says that the murder of the artist shows that Russia is a real external threat to Poland. And the opinion piece criticizes Polish politicians who do not take external threats from Russia more seriously, but instead decide to trivialize them for the sake of domestic politics. And finally, I want to show you one of his very well-known caricatures posted by The Sun here. We can see a painting of Hitler and Stalin, and then we can see here Vladimir Putin with a meat grinder grinding what looks like it could be some Russian soldiers.
Now next to a deep dive into Jeffrey Epstein's final days. This is New York Times.
Yeah, and it's an article called The Untold Story of Jeffrey Epstein's Death. And the article actually explains his final arrest in July 2019. And it spoke to a jail employee who said that Epstein seemed sad, a little confused and withdrawn. So what the paper did, what's new here, is that the paper examined newly released records and interviewed as many people as it could that were mentioned in these records that were not previously interviewed. So many of them painted a picture of fraying mental state that sharply contrasted with the upbeat picture Epstein himself presented to jail psychologists. And the paper says that this arrest in July was the beginning of a journey into darkness that would end 35 days later when he was found dead in his jail cell. And the paper doesn't really draw any clear conclusion, but suggests that the suicide theory is indeed possible.
Going to talk about the World Cup now. India, once again, not participating. What are the papers saying on this?
Yeah, well, the BBC explains why a country of 1.4 billion is not in the football World Cup. The article writes that India's so-called Blue Tigers, that's the national team, have never progressed beyond the preliminary rounds of Asian zone qualifiers. And that's despite the fact that there are some football-crazy Indian states like West Bengal, Kerala and Goa. And there at the moment, there are even like special journalists and correspondents from India covering the World Cup, even though their country is not participating. And India's neighbor China has also not qualified yet again this year. So you're probably wondering, will India ever play in the World Cup? Well, for many Indians, it's not impossible, and it's now maybe even easier now that the Asian team quota has gone up. And what is missing, however, the article says, is the right ecosystem and a serious program with a long-term vision.
It's just not cricket. That's the problem. Finally, Brooklyn Beckham's World Cup advert has polarised many.
Yeah, and the Daily Mail says that Brooklyn Beckham's exploitative World Cup advert mocking his parents could be the beginning of the end for his brand and hopes of a family reunion, according to PR experts. So let's take a look at this viral ad.
You're probably wondering why I'm watching the FIFA World Cup 2026 from home. It's a long story.
Doesn't look happy.
Yeah, so he's advertising food delivery. Why? Because he'll be staying at home. He won't be going to the World Cup with his family. He says it's a long story, and at the end we see it's complicated. Complicated indeed, as Brooklyn's beef with his own family has gone viral all over social media, especially after his marriage with Nicole Peltz. I hope you've been following that drama, Stuart.
Of course, yeah.
And British tabloids see him as the new Prince Harry when it comes to public family scandals, and he's reportedly choosing his wife over his family, and the Beckhams aren't happy.
Oh dear, it's going to go on and on and on, this, isn't it? Alyssa, thank you for making sure we're up to date on it.